actually tell what. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Commissioning 2013.
Proclaim.
Nice. So, my name's Grant Whitehead.
Major Brian Burchell.
And tonight we have the Army of Stars event, which is happening here at the Pasadena Convention Center.
6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
So, the doors have just opened. So, we're not expecting to see very much until 6:30.
Yep.
But the band is playing, and so we're going to cut in between some of that. And we've also got, because it's a dinner tonight, there is some sort of downtime where people will be eating and there's not really much going on in the room. But what we have for you is a pre-recording of
kind of a highlight reel.
Yeah, of what happened previous to this event at 4 o'clock. Was a thing called
Faith. Hall of Faith. Hall of Faith. Yeah, in this Hall of Faith was 13 stations set up, about 13 different ministries of the Salvation Army, and some amazing things were happening. We'll go through them and they'll be able to see them all as they are. But it talks a lot of war stories, rehabilitation stories, young kids singing. Even pottery and things like that going on in
right.
different ministries, and it's pretty cool seeing that. And we have a great word from our own commissioner.
That's right. Yep. So that'll come up a little bit later when they have dinner. But you can see now here is the room that they're in, and it's the.
They're going to be hearing some unique music. Kevin Larson, he talks about it in one of the interviews, but he's pretty humble about it. I can talk more about it than him. I've heard nothing but great things about this music. In fact, he took it over to preview it over in London because they're going to be doing a worship festival there. And what he's done is he's taken some songs from the Gallons and Larson's musical, and he's made them, he says big band style, but you know, the people that I've heard, you know, it's just, it's more of a cross between big band and pop sort of music. And again, it's somebody with a background in Old England, and yet he's keeping it at a level where, you know, even young people today are still excited about the music. Got some great musicians too. That always helps.
Yeah, I think they have got some other songs in there as well. I heard in the rehearsal today there was some interesting songs as well. So be sure to let everyone know that we're live now. Make it known on Facebook and that sort of thing.
Twitter, whatever you got.
That's right. And if you're signed up, then you can join the chat room, and you can say hello there.
And the picture will get better as we go along. My picture is a little off, but then again, my computer's a little off. So, so what they're doing is that they've gone. They went from these 13 stations in the Hall of Faith, and then the Western Territorial Staff Band came marching through.
Right.
And then everybody followed them into the Army of Stars. And they're going to begin, it's like an awards banquet, and we have some great presenters there. We have, you know, our own Gavin Schofield Smith, soldier at the Pasadena Corps. He and Lisa Guerrero. We'll be hearing more about Lisa Guerrero Coles a little bit later. But right now the table's just filling up.
That's right. People are just walking into the room for the first time and seeing what everything that's in store there.
This is not for lunch we had box lunches.
Right.
It's a little bit different.
This is quite a bit different.
It's a big buffet, and you and I are sitting out here in a different building.
That's right. 700 feet of cable away. Now, the concept for tonight is really to honour some of the people that really make the Salvation Army work in all of our divisions.
Yeah.
And it's not officers, you know, it's soldiers. It's the guys that are doing it day in, day out. And we get to see some great stories, and there's a film clip for each one of these people. And so it's going to be a really great night. I'm really excited to be able to...
I think we should give a plug while we can to the multimedia department.
Right.
Because, you know, basically the multimedia department is given a list of names and said do something with it. And who does that, you know?
Yeah, so Josh Cowing and Jason Layton went around and recorded all these interviews, and yeah, you'll see it's really good.
Yeah, and there's some stills, there's some videos, and and then of course you have Jacob and you have Jeffrey in that department too, and the gal's name is Glenda. Yeah, and I don't think there's a better multimedia department in the world, Salvation Army world, because we have had people from international headquarters say how much they like the work of our department.
That's right.
So we're going to hear some great things, and again, there will be some interviews along the way. And make sure that throughout the night, we're going to be standing by the chat room. And if you have something you want us to chat about or to ask somebody, feel free to put it in there. We'll make a list of it, and when we get back over there, we'll chat around with them.
That's right. We'll keep an eye on what's going in the room. It's a beautiful looking room.
Yeah, every divisional commander and cabinet member is in charge of a table, and so they're supposed to get, and there are only 10 people tabled, but then they'll probably fit what, 800 or 1,200 people in there, right? Mm-hmm. It's a little bit different than the gathering.
It's a completely different event, really, than we've seen before. We've got some more people signing up to online call, which is great.
I'm going to pause my video. If you see Mrs. Tollerud, please tell her. I will do that, Amy. Mrs. Tollerud was actually in charge of one of the booths over at the Hall of Faith.
Really?
Yeah, she was the one doing the multi-generational one.
Huh.
When for a while she thought she was only a certain number of generations. And somebody, oh no, your great great grandmother was in over in England. She was a captain or something.
Right.
We'll hear that.
That's right. We'll see that a little bit later.
For this commissioning, one of the great things for us has been to see the youth involvement.
Right.
You know, it's not like they have youth programs. All the youth programming is part of the adult. It's in all the venues.
Right.
We've had this program Encore, and I don't want to use. Well, I'll just use the term that would be on TV. It's sort of like. Not American Idol. What's the one? You've Got Talent, sort of thing.
Right.
Only these kids they dance, they sing, they play their instruments, and it's all for the glory of God, you know. And they have their chance to, when you're in a small corps, and you have a talent, you do that same, you sing to that same group of small people all the time.
Yeah.
Well, this is an opportunity for them to share it with a bigger audience.
Yeah.
And it's been great. You have timber brigades from the Marshall Islands dancing and all sorts of things happening.
Yeah, we're gonna show you now while they're still getting their seats and that sort of thing. We're gonna show some of last night. There was a concert with Israel Horton, but before he came on, it was the Pasadena Tabernacle Youth Choir. Yeah. And so we've got some of that we'll play. And if there's anything that's going on that we think you might miss, then we'll jump out of those songs and we'll get to that. So be sure to jump in the chat room, tell us where you're from, and
I just want to talk about the youth choir for just a second.
Sure.
These are not all members of the Salvation Army. It's an outreach ministry. You have to come to the Salvation Army, I think, 2 Sundays a month.
Right.
But not everybody, I should say, not everybody's from Pasadena. Barbara and Steve Allen have gotten this group together, and you try out, they're amazing. Just watch them.
Right. The band have just started up, but we'll show you a little bit of the youth chorus first. So there you go. There's some of the youth chorus from last night. We'll go back to that again. People are still getting their seats for the Army of Stars event, and finding the seats, and then shortly they will start, and it won't be all that long. I think they get into a dinner,
Right.
But we'll get a song in there. They sing, and there's a bit of stuff going on. But
We have prayer, song, eat. When during the dinner time, we'll show a little bit of that, but then we have that recap of the previous hour before that, or 2 hours before that, of the Hall of Faith.
Yep. Yeah, so there's lots to show you tonight, so please stick around. If you're having any problems with the video, a couple of things are connecting not to wireless but connecting to a cable helps a lot, and also using Chrome browser actually helps a lot as well. So if you know how to install a browser, then play with that. There's about 50 people that are watching already, so it's great to have you here. Let's get back to a little bit of last night with the Tabernacle Youth Chorus.
I don't talk like I used to talk. He made the difference. I don't live like I used to live. He made the difference. I don't give like I used to give. He made the difference. He made the difference. He made the difference in my life. He gives me joy. The inner peace of past. Yeah, I'm on a cloud from the first moment to the last. You see, he walks with me and talks with me.
voiceover. Oh.
So we're back now with the live from the
Pasadena.
Yeah, that's right, Pasadena Convention Center, and my name's Grant Whitehead. This is Brian Birchall, and we this is the Army of Stars event. It's a dinner, and you can see here the brass band is playing, and we won't be talking all over it.
What brass band is it? It's the Territorial Staff Band.
Okay.
Amazing group.
Right. But then there's the California, what do they call it? California Brass Band or something? What do they call it? California Big Band. Maybe. We should find that out.
Well, that's the Kevin Larson Band?
That's right.
That's going to be special music during the meal. So.
Right. Anyway, we will let you listen to this, and very shortly we will have the start with our hosts, Gavin and Lisa.
By the way, Eli, Doria, that was a Doria on the tuba right there in front of you. Probably a cousin.
Brilliant. We'll keep chatting in the chat room. Be sure to ask questions and make your comments and stuff. That'll be fun.
I think more our traditions.
Well, good evening, soldiers. Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Good evening, soldiers. There we go. Well, it's my pleasure tonight to welcome you on behalf of Commissioners James and Carolyn Nax to the Stars of the Army, a celebration of you. So welcome to you. We'd like to make a special welcome to those people who are viewing us online. We believe as of now we have 10 countries who are viewing us via our webcam, which is there. So a special hello to you if you're joining us online. We wish you could be here, but you're with us in spirit, so please sit back and enjoy. Now, my name is Gavin Schofield Smith, and I'm going to be your host this evening, and I am a proud 6th-generation Salvationist. Now, my co-host this evening is also no stranger to the Salvation Army. Lisa Guerrero has served as a sideline reporter on Monday Night Football and is currently the award-winning chief investigative correspondent for the Inside Edition. Although her Army heritage goes back several generations and 3 continents. In fact, you may well have seen Lisa this week on The View. If that's a show that you've seen in the morning, Lisa was on there this week. So please, join me in welcoming my co-host this evening, Lisa Guerrero.
Thank you. Well, it's great to be here on this night that we honor representatives of this great army of stars, this great army of soldiers. I too am very proud to have grown up in the loving arms of the Salvation Army right here in the Western Territory. I've seen and I've witnessed stars of this great army encourage and enable transformation in lives of people less fortunate. Recently, as a guest on the Hallmark Channel's national morning show, Home and Family, I was able to share one of the Salvation Army's wonderful programs taking place right here in Pasadena. Let's check out this clip.
This is prom season, and as you parents know, it's expensive to send your kid to the prom, right? I mean, the dresses are very pricey, and the Salvation Army started a program a couple of years ago where they're donating dresses to needy girls, and they take dresses that are donated from the public, and they're also going to dress manufacturers to get brand new dresses, and then they bring these girls in, and then they actually bring seamstresses in to fit the dresses right to them and to do makeovers on them so that they're able to go to the prom when they wouldn't normally be able to afford it. And so I took some of my red carpet dresses that I've worn at different events and I donated them to the Salvation Army, and they ended up at the prom on Saturday night.
So it's chasing bad guys and chasing good stories.
Yes.
Let's take a look at that.
This is a very unique program that over the last 3 or 4 years that we've just seen it be such an incredible gift for these girls. And they also get a little goodie bag and a gift card and a few things like that. And it just is going to make the world of difference to them.
This one is a Maria Nero Blanco, and this is a dress I wore to host the Academy Awards pre-show for Oscars.com. So about 10 million people saw this dress. This dress has been at the Academy Awards on the red carpet. So this dress I wore on the red carpet of the Grammys 2 years ago for Inside Edition. An updo. There you go. Because then it shows off this, right, the lines. It's very sophisticated.
Look at the look on her face. That's so wonderful.
It was amazing. It was amazing. So besides chasing the hard stories, I do like to do some Salvation Army work too.
So, guess where this dress is going to be next season? Some girl's going to wear it to prom, I guarantee it. I'm proud of this Army, and I thank God for all of you and for all of the great work that you do every single day.
We appreciate that you're involved, Lisa, in everything that the Salvation Army is doing. Well, guys, like all good Salvation Army meetings, what better way than we can start today but with a song? And what better song for an army to sing than Onward Christian Soldiers? We're being accompanied by our staff band this evening, so I would invite you to rise. We're going to try and raise the roof in here this evening. I want to hear you all sing the words that are going to come up on the screen, just in case you don't know them. And I believe we're going to have a short introduction by the band. Thank you.
awesome. Now, can you please all help to welcome Soldier Amanda Wensing, who will lead us now in prayer.
If you would close your eyes, we will have a word of prayer. Dear God, we thank you so much for gathering us all in this place, and we thank you for the faithfulness of the soldiers being honored here. And we pray that you would bless this food to our bodies and the fellowship that we share. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Amanda. Now I'd invite you to enjoy your food. Have you seen the little chocolate fancies on the table there? The square Salvation Army chocolate, are they good? Hey? Me and Lisa were up all evening making those, especially for you guys tonight.
Yeah.
All evening. Yeah, that deserves a clap. Thank you. All evening. So please, guys, enjoy your dinner, and we'll be back a little bit later on. And don't forget, you have to eat your salad before dessert. We're going to be watching.
Well, there you have it. They're off and eating. And they're going to be, if something happens, we'll definitely cut back to it.
Yeah.
But again, I'm Major Brian Birchall, and Grant is over there saying,
hi.
He's getting all of the video and the audio all synced up. And what we're going to do is, we had, Grant actually had about 10 minutes to edit 40 minutes of footage, so it's gonna, some of it's gonna be a little odd. I mean, and I'm actually interviewing people. We had just ran through this Hall of Faith. In the Hall of Faith, there was 13 stations where there was people doing 13 different types of ministries, and we tried to get in touch and interview with each and every one of them. And we also have a special interview with Commissioner Jim Naggs, who has a special message just for you online. And if we're ready, I think
just before that. It's not quite ready, so just before that, we're going to go back to the youth chorus, Pasadena Tabernacle, Grant. Thank you. I was just short.
It's hard to say that in Australian, I understand.
Thank you.
The Pasnat.
And so we're going to listen to that from last night.
They opened up for Israel Houghton and did a fantastic job. And at the very end, they did a number of Amazing Grace with them and the Territorial Staff Band. So.
Right. So let's have a look at that, and then we'll come back.
And we'll be right back with you. We'll definitely come back to the Pasadena Youth Chorus, but here's a little clip of what happened the 2 hours before this great Army of Stars dinner.
365 days ago was the end of the gathering. Ready? I'd like to welcome everybody to this year's commissioning. We're going to start off with the Hall of Faith, And we're going to go in and interview some people, and then we're going to go into the Army of Stars banquet. There are 13 booths set up in the Hall of Faith here. We're going to start off at the Adult Rehabilitation Stories booth. Let's just have a listen to one of the stories or part of a story.
She was telling me that she needed an assistant, and I said, well, I can do that. You know, just out of the blue, I was on my break, I can do that. She said, oh, really? I said, yeah, but do I have to live?
Henry Filateo. Henry is the director of production.
As with every good production, there are glitches. And we call this in the Salvation Army a hallelujah breakdown, even though we don't like to admit it. But anyways, as I mentioned, we had Grant had 10 minutes to edit it, and it's still doing some rendering. So we just ask for your patience and then just enjoy the evening, enjoy the chat room. We will be getting to the awards as soon as the awards come to us. We'll get them to you. And can we go back to the
yeah, we might.
Pasadena chorus while we're youth chorus while we're.
Well, we'll just try again.
You can hear me stumble again.
Okay. Yeah. No, we're gonna go back to the Pasadena.
Pasadena youth chorus.
Here they are.
Is a graduate of the Bakersfield ARC from 1997. So would you welcome Mr. Henry Filateo?
Let me begin by saying how proud I am to have been asked to participate in this particular program. It's hard to imagine that a person like me would get it up. Oh, okay. That a person like me would be asked to go ahead and share part of his testimony. I did write most of it down.
I have Major Mark Nelson. He's works with Man-Hee Chung, Major Man-Hee Chung.
That's right.
And what do we have on our booth over here?
These are stories of our ARC graduates, and we have 6 different people. 2 of them are Salvation Army officers, and the rest are, so a few are ARC employees who are doing good work.
What is up here is right. We're going through all these booths, and this is the Mission-Minded booth. And this is Mrs. No.
Come on.
This is Miss Claire O'Brien. What did it take to put the booth together?
What did it take? It took a lot of Service Corps people to help, do the manual labor over here. Major Harmon helped us coordinate, all this kind of stuff. But basically, we're just collecting the, basic information for some of our mission programs, so that people can, get
What are
started.
some of those programs?
Well, we have child sponsorship at this table. Over here, we have Revolution Hawaii. Over here, we have Service Corps, and over here, we have short-term missions. So people can come up and talk to people and, get respective information for the things they're interested in.
Have you been on any of the mission trips Army offers?
I haven't, but I am running child sponsorship at THQ right now, so this is my area of
You've never been on Service Corps?
I have now been on Service Corps.
Yeah, but you're in school to get your master's degree in theology, right?
Yes.
Good.
Took the school path.
Good. Thank you very much. So we got blue carpet, but we still have Gavin.
Yeah.
What are you doing tonight?
Tonight I'm hosting the Stars Banquet in the main room with Lisa Guerrera. So she's the girl that does like the touchline football on a Monday evening, and she's just doing that the Inside the Edition show. So
any secrets going to go on in there tonight?
There's some. I listened to the rehearsal. There's some amazing music. Kevin Larson has wrote some wicked arrangements.
Oh, really?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe. I was listening before. I was like, oh, I just want to sit and listen to it all.
So when you're not interviewing people, what do you do?
I just interview people and just hang around and chat.
I mean
I've been eating food and I've been.
Life, what do you do?
Well, me and my wife run a school in Pasadena, so that's one of the things we do. But I spend a lot of time in front of a camera, speaking to people at red carpet events, so my work's down in Hollywood.
So we have free Hollywood entertainment in having a soldier.
There you go, hey, yes. Free interviews.
In our Hall of Faith, one of the amazing things is this stage right here. This is what's called the encore stage. It's like a Salvation Army has talent. Anybody can come along and play along on our stage. And welcome through, folks. Anyways, these are some of the results of what happened to some of the talent of the young people only in our territory. Let me see if I can get Don Smith. You have been refused by the territorial music director's wife. Next, we move along to Camp Memories, and there's nobody with more memories than Camp. And not that he's the oldest, but this guy started off as a lifeguard. Well, probably didn't start off there. Is that what
in the dish room?
In the dish room, lifeguard, and now he's the divisional commander. Tell us what's happened at this booth.
Here's where we're sharing memories of a lifetime. People that have worked at camp and how to experience and change their lives and how it affected their lives. And they're coming here and they're sharing it, and they're wearing a band that represents a camp that they worked at. And it's just a wonderful time because camp is one of the best places where the Lord can work in the lives of our youth. And we see a lot of first-time conversions at camp. And so people are just coming and celebrating and talking about their camp experience. And most of these people worked at camp somewhere in their lives.
60% of the cadets in training school right now had a life-changing experience at camp. That should tell us how important camp is. I want to know what the significance of the olives and the peanuts are.
Well, when in doubt, we can use the olives to put them in our nose and then we shoot them out.
Welcome to camp, Doug, or Colonel.
Wait.
And this is Major Peggy Helms as well, and she's big time at camp. At camp, I was a waitress. You were? $35 a week? That's child labor.
It was.
Well, thank you very much. We're moving on. This is another Mr. He's the modern day Doug. Only his name.
Modern day Doug?
Well, he's the old man who grew up at camp.
Wow, that's
now
pretty
the guy
privileged.
that goes to all the camps.
That's right.
Jim Sparks. What do you got to say about camp, Jim?
Camp is the place. It's a place that you can never get tired of going. And every time you step foot on camp, you know that Jesus Christ is alive. And it's just, it glows. It's a sanctuary.
How many years did you work at camp?
I did 9 summers.
9 summers?
Yep.
But you're there to give announcements at every youth event.
It seems that way, isn't it? Yeah.
Stay tuned for his pictures. They're great.
Yeah, they'll be on sayconnect.com.
Sayconnect.com. Having a multiple generation of anything is always good news. One of the exciting things about the Salvation Army is that we have a lot of first generationists. Regardless of the first generation, this booth here allows people to share their opportunity talking about their family through the years growing up in the Salvation Army.
First generation, his mom is the second generation. But lo and behold, after he became an officer, his father said to him, by the way, you have Salvation Army roots. And my dad said, well, how could that be? He said, your grandmother was a Salvation Army officer in London, England.
Ken Cavallero, Territorial Emergency Disaster Services Coordinator.
Correct.
What do we got set up and what's going on with Emergency Disaster Service?
Well, right now the disaster services is a big part of the Army in providing services during the disasters. We're real active right now in Colorado with the wildfires. We have 5 emergency canteens like the one back over here deployed right now. And total in the last 5 days, they've served close to 15,000 meals.
Wow.
So
how many canteens do we have in the Western Territory?
In the territory itself, we have about close to 100.
And are they all ready to go at any time?
They're all ready to go. They should all be roll out with enough food on them for 500 people.
Who calls somebody from Washington to go to Colorado? Is that you?
I'll make those calls.
And then they have a divisional disaster coordinator as well?
Each division has a divisional disaster disaster director in each division.
Great.
And so they have their crew of volunteers. We have close to 4,000 volunteers in the territory right now.
That's fantastic.
And they're all trained in various stages of food services, emotional spiritual care.
How many of them are trained in ham radio? I know they have to be licensed.
I think we have close to the 400 in the territory that are ham radio operators, communicators. And we're working on building that process a little bit. Yeah. Each of our mobile units is going to have a antenna and a hookup in it so we can put a radio in each unit so we can have one of the operators get in as a crew member.
Thanks, Ken. God bless you.
Thank you. You too.
Well, there you go. There's a flash mob for you, Salvation Army style. Hey, Martin Hunt. This is Martin Hunt. He's in charge of everything. You have any complaints, you talk to Martin Hunt. Martin Eugene Hunt. It's Commissioner James Naggs. Jim, what do you think of everything? What's happening here? Are you enjoying it?
This is fabulous. And the excitement is definitely in the air.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of buzz, a lot of good stuff. And what this is just sweet Christian fellowship and sharing together and enjoying each other's company. What do Christians do to have a good time? Well, this is the kind of thing we do.
Yeah,
and it's a thrill.
It's amazing listening to the conversations, even outside the hall, how positive people are. Yeah. In such a negative world, it's great to come together. People look forward to coming to something like this, you know.
And then today, with Bible Bowl taking place, because that's huge.
Yeah.
They did the Gospel of Matthew this year.
Yeah.
I sit in there and then I realize...
Yeah, little you know.
how much more I should learn about the Word of God. And then the Encore program, which is, of course, musical, drama, dance, timbral performance.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful component. It'll help our young people to further enhance the gifts that God has given them.
Amen.
To fan them into flame.
Well, I know you're super busy, but what we're going to do with this is we're going to, when they're going to dinner, when they're eating and it's quiet, we're going to be shooting this B-roll. So it's going to go out to the online audience. If you have anything particular you want to say to the online audience, it'll be great.
Well, listen, to those of you who are online, I welcome you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. I wish you could be here with us, so maybe you are by being online together. Pay attention to what's going on here and listen for the Spirit of God. He speaks to people through this medium, and He can speak to you. He can speak to you today. He can call you forward into His service. He loves you. And He only wants the best for you. So, welcome to the Salvation Army, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. We're praying for you. And your wife. God bless you. Where are you going this summer?
I'm going to Kenya.
Kenya for what?
Service Corps!
Service Corps. You been to Kenya before?
No, never.
So you're a student where?
San Diego State University.
Now, she's got a plush place to live. Where do you live when you're at home?
In Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz at camp?
Redwood Glen!
Yeah, thanks. Next, we move along to the booth called War Stories. It's a chance for people to give their testimony. And some of the life that they've had is a lot different than the life that I grew up with, and they were actually battled in many ways, whether it's with addiction or whether it's poverty or whatever. So they're here to tell their stories about how they came to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ.
I don't have all the answers, but I have the assurance that comes from a loving relationship with Christ. I am here to tell you that Christ is seeking a relationship with you too. He will meet you wherever you are and bring you to victory. Thank you.
This booth deals with pictures. We have Nowadays, anybody can take a picture, but years ago, it used to be just where you'd have to take a picture and hope you got a good shot. One of the famous photographers in the Salvation Army Western Territory is the whole Toy family. This is Major Keela Toy, shares a little bit about the pictures that were taken.
During the English-speaking times. Eventually, we started branching off to have an English-only service, and that's how the Asian American ministry started. And my husband and I stayed for about 17 years with the Asian American ministry. So we find it a blessing to the Chinese ministry that this is continuing to grow.
Oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Kevin.
Yes.
Kevin Larson.
No.
Corey.
Yeah, everyone.
Come on, you guys.
Darren. Go.
I asked some of the guys how the practices went, and the only thing they can talk about is the music.
Oh.
What are we going to hear tonight? What have you done?
Lots of different things. Think of the Oscars, you know, that kind of stuff. We're going to be playing people on and off and doing that kind of stuff, but we'll also do some special numbers. Lots of music from my dad's musicals and stuff like that, featuring Barbara and Matt.
Kind of put a different tone to them, though, right?
Yeah, it's a big band. So we're doing a big band tonight. Yep.
And you just got back from London. What were you doing over there with it?
Same thing. Yeah, we had a night, and my dad was there, which is nice. And we just featured 20 of his songs in this big band arrangement, and it was a packed house at the Regent Hall. So we were thrilled by that.
And Corey, you're the Corps Sergeant Major, one of the best corps around, I understand, right? What corps is that?
Best corps around. Torrance Corps.
Torrance?
Yes.
Torrance, California.
Torrance, California.
Oh, I understand great things are going to be happening there in the future?
Yes, that's what I hear as well.
Plus your wife's going to have a baby.
Right, exactly. First, in August.
August?
Yes, a boy.
Guys, thank you very much.
No problem.
This is the youth station.
Yeah, well, here's what happened.
Now, this is...
Captain.
She's still Captain
Yes.
Siobhan Malone. She's the Divisional Youth Candidate Secretary in the Northwest. The Great
Division.
Northwest, right?
The Great Northwest.
What's happening
Division.
at your booth?
Well, here's the thing. We started out strong. We had some people giving some great testimonies about, youth ministry. And then people just came, and now we're hanging out and enjoying fellowship.
Typical youth.
I've had the Spokane singing company with me. They were great. And then more people came, and now we're just hanging out having a good time.
Is that them singing up there now on the stage?
No, that's not Spokane. But those are
Well, there
cute.
you have it.
Not as cute as
Typical
Spokane.
youth. Great start.
It's a party. It's a party at the youth place. Come on over.
And then we move over to the next one over here is the Imaginative Ministry. This ministry is all about everything but the spoken word. It's creating kilts. We have somebody in here, we'll get a picture of it in a second here, of pottery making. We have all kinds of other arts and crafts, basically, that point the direction that Jesus is the Savior. Major Linda Markowitz, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
What you doing?
I am making a pot to illustrate how Jesus makes stuff out of us. And
Now, I know you do this as a 2-day seminar usually on how we have the potter and the clay and all the different illustrations. What can you tell us in just a quick word is the reason why people should get more involved in this art?
yeah. Well, some of us end up looking like this piece of clay, end up working to try and make ourselves better by ourselves, but the fact is you can't. And so then you have to put yourself in the hands of God, and as God shapes you and molds you, He can either remake you or make you the first time, and He can even recycle.
Does God make mistakes in pottery?
Never.
I tried it once, and as I did the wheel, I was a typical driver, spinning so fast, hitting it against the wall. Thanks, Major. Is that what this is all about here? She's actually quite a very good potter, and we have some of her stuff is right up here on the table there. This is something that Rhonda Gilger would be great at, too.
But I knew it's because I was ready. I was committed, and I knew that where I was at, the bottom I had hit, I know that God saved me. He pulled me out of there and He put me on a rock, and I knew it. So that's what helped me to do everything else.
So we've got the microphone started not working at this point, but here's the last couple of things. I think this is one of the coolest ones as well. The things
Photo
that
booth.
the people were really flocking to this. This is where the old uniforms they could dress up and get photos taken as family. And this was the last one, wasn't it, Brian?
It was, and this is the museum booth. Salvation Army Western Territory tries to really maintain its history, not just the Western Territory history, but their museum, a lot of their museum has come from people that have passed on and their kids saying, my parents had this in their room, do you want this? You know, so we're talking old uniforms, old documents. And
They're really cool, the high neck uniforms and stuff.
A lot of the history. And when I was in training school, since I had previously had a college degree, so I had a special assignment, and I worked in the museum area. And getting to go through some of these old documents that were signed by these people that we've read about and heard about in history, it was really cool. And but yeah, the uniforms kind of get you because they have them from every period. And what really is interesting is the progression of hats and helmets and that they have. You know, it's from the donut days to now.
Yeah, the bonnets with a really big brim at the front.
To protect them from the stuff that people were throwing at them.
Bricks and stuff, right? Yeah, serious.
See, people don't understand that, but then they kept the bonnet for so long after there wasn't that issue, and then people wonder, what's the bonnet for?
Well, and you wore yours for a long time, did you?
My bonnet? Can you see the smile on his face? This is...
It's just too much fun. So
I don't have anything to say.
Thank you for joining us.
You're revealing to the world that I wore a bonnet.
So I tell you what's happening now is this is the Army of Stars dinner, and currently they're doing exactly that, dinner. There isn't much going on. There's a little bit of background music, and so we wanted to show you a couple of other things that happened today, and so that was the Hall of Faith event.
Yep.
We will be moments away, I think, from getting on with the rest of the program, where there's I think it's one person from each division is acknowledged and sort of acknowledged for the work they do. Each division had to nominate
officers,
and had to nominate a soldier that was kind of outstanding service to the Salvation Army, and so we're going to get to see a little video, sort of interviews with other people about the person from each division. And so I think it's sort of the program will run where we have a couple of awards.
Yep.
And then we'll have a song. And we've got Barbara Allen, just outstanding, and Matt Woods.
Yep.
They're doing some duets and they're doing some solo stuff. And we've got the band that we heard about from Kevin
California,
Larson. Kevin Larson. And California. I should get that name. We didn't look it up again. California Brass Band something.
It's a good one.
It's very good. You won't mind what the name is. You'll just enjoy listening to the music. So it'll get started any moment. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to play you the last song from last night.
Oh.
Brian's going to tell you about it while I get it ready.
The Pasadena Youth Chorus came on and opened up after they sang a half hour's worth of great gospel music, gospel choir music, a couple solos, and that was an introduction to Israel Houghton, which was basically a 2-hour worship concert. And it's a lot different than they've ever had here at a commissioning. It was an outsider, outside the Salvation Army, but yet an amazing born-again Christian that writes music, internationally known, and he got the Salvationists on their feet. And to end off the evening, he started singing Amazing Grace. And My Chains Are Gone, I've Been Set Free. And after the second verse, the curtains opened up and revealed, I get chicken skin thinking about the Pasadena Youth Choir again, and who did an amazing background. And then off to the side was the division or territorial staff band, who was part of the whole thing. And it was the best conclusion that I've seen in years, if ever, of Amazing Grace, My Chains Are Gone. And we would love to have live streamed that, but because of contractual obligations, we weren't able to do that. But we do have this for you now.
We'll just show you a clip from it.
A clip from it, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace, My Chains Are Gone.
So the horns marching band, choir's going to join us. Trust grace that taught my arms and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear beyond our first belief. My chains are gone, my chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has ransomed me. And like a flood, His mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. They sound great. The Lord has promised good to me. Sing it. The Lord has promised good to me. His word, my hope secures. Oh, He will my shield and portion. As long as life endures, my chains are gone, my chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has ransomed me. And like a flood, His mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. Amazing grace. The earth, sing it choir. My chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has ransomed me. And like a flood, His mercy reigns. Unending love. Hey! Said my chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has ransomed me. Oh, and like the flood, His mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. Unending love, amazing grace. Unending love. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for having us.
So there you go. That was just last night, the concert with Israel Houghton, and
Beautiful end to a long day.
Yeah, hear a bit of noise going on here because they're setting up.
Closing down some tables, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, the day actually started off up at Crestmont College, the College for Officer Training in Palos Verdes. And it was basically it's where they give the Associate of Arts degree to everyone that passed, which was everybody.
Right.
In fact, they had several that got principals with honors, which means they got 4.0 plus even some, or 3.9 plus. I think there were 7 or 8 of them. But it was a tremendous...
so nearly as good as you.
Not quite as good as me, but then again, I've known to lie to other people too. Yeah.
That's funny. So, just if you're just joining us, tonight is called the Army of Stars.
Right.
And it's an award ceremony for soldiers. One soldier from each division is going to be awarded. And we'll get to see a video with interviews about this person, and they're all soldiers, no officers. It's people that have exceptional service in the Salvation Army, and so we get to see. Well, I guess it's 10, isn't it?
10 divisions,
right? So we'll get to see 10 of those tonight. What we're waiting for at the moment is that they're having dinner, and so it's a beautiful room,
yeah.
Just really, really nice.
White.
It's
I mean,
really,
the way they've got it.
And the reason for it being so beautiful is to really
appreciation.
Yeah, to honour them, and to say it's actually worthwhile making this type of event for people.
Yep.
You know? Because of the work that they do, and so it's going to be a really fun night. Really, really excited about it.
There will be some surprises probably. You know, the Salvation Army is always has surprises up their sleeves. They're like when everybody else finds out where you're going.
Right.
Which will be tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, so speaking of that, so yeah, at 10 a.m. we have the commissioning and ordination service, which is when 73?
Yep.
73 cadets in the Salvation Army, which are officers in training, essentially, that they spend 2 years in training school. They spend the time actually in a residential program. Yep. And they've just come to the end of that. They graduated, as you're talking about. And so there's 2 meetings that happen tomorrow, 10 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Let's cut to the...
Oh, we've got it. We're back. We'll come back.
We'll catch you later. Let's get you to the hall.
Here we go.
Just what you'll find, the drunks will give up drinking, and of course we'll give up swearing right away. We may even have to change our way of thinking when the army gets here to stay. There will be marching, marching, marching when the army comes to town. And they're gonna turn the world upside down when the Salvation Army comes to town. Wow, wasn't that fantastic? Come on, let's hear it again for Matt Woods and Barbara Allen. Well, you may well have noticed that I've had a change. What do we think? Does it look okay?
Better.
Oh, okay. That's good. Now, has everybody enjoyed their dinner? Did we eat? Well, I can see you did there, sir, because you've still got a little bit of lettuce just sort of stuck in your teeth. You might want to just... Do you know what, actually, Lisa? Why don't we do a lettuce check? Do you know what a lettuce check is? Yeah, look at the people on your table, show them your teeth, see if you've got any lettuce stuck in your teeth. Oh, okay, Madden, when I say show your teeth, I need you to still keep your teeth in your mouth. Please don't take your teeth out.
Okay, it's quite scary. That's perfect.
All right.
That's good. We've got children over here, that's all. It's quite scary. The Walking Dead over here. Okay, off we go. They always say an army that eats together, fights together, right?
We don't mean fight each other.
Well, no.
Fight together.
Fight together, yeah. I don't mean fight each other. Well, we are an army of people. Ordinary souls that have been saved by the grace of God. With all our flaws and imperfections, we have been called by God to serve in His Salvation Army. Many of us growing up through the ranks from many different territories around the world. Others finding the army and stumbling across it. Yet others have come to the army through personal crisis.
But we are a united people serving God, seeking the lost, and helping make others' lives much better.
So tonight, we're here to honor some of our stars of our army. People who have been faithful in their service to God, service to the cause, and supportive to their leaders.
Yes, these stars, often the unsung heroes of the Army, have impacted thousands of people with their commitment, love, teaching and coaching, nurturing. These Army of Stars have literally loved thousands of people into the kingdom of God, and tonight we salute them.
So are we ready to get this evening going? Oh, come on, you know we don't accept that. Are we ready to get this evening going? There we go. Fantastic. Presenting our first two awardees. Please welcome from the Southwest Division and the Phoenix Citadel Corps, Isabel Pierce.
The Salvation Army ministry to youth is a crucial discipleship aspect of our organization. I'm sure that many of us in the room tonight have been impacted by quality youth leaders. Serving as a soldier for over 35 years, Robin Brokaw of the Grants Pass Corps has led VBS, Corps Cadets, served as the YPSM, she has led the Bible Bowl, and the Singing Company. She helps with any Corps activity and is a faithful member of the Corps Council. Robin is an inspiration to everyone around her for her unwavering faith and devotion. Let's listen as we hear more about Robin.
Robin is the kind of lady that when she walks into a room, she lights it up with her smile and she changes the atmosphere.
Robin was kind of like the first person to welcome me in, and she was really nice, and I thought, this is one of my favorite persons now, because she was really nice and introduced me to everybody, and it makes you want to keep coming every day, or every Wednesday, Tuesday, Sunday.
She's always there, if you really need to talk to someone, or if you just need a friend to talk to. She's a very loving person, and she is lovable, and she's really caring because she cares for everybody at the church.
When she came to the Salvation Army, she started asking where she could help. And she works all week long. She has a full-time job, but still she would devote any time she had for anything we needed.
We can only do so much, but then when others come along like Robin and partner with us and help us, it's amazing how much more how many more kids we can work with, how many more kids we can reach, how many more people we can touch their lives.
Robin's very dedicated to what she does here at the Corps, let alone at work. She'll volunteer for just about anything. This is her home. This is where she belongs. And she's doing everything she can to do what God wants her to do.
I know she's someone I can rely on. She's someone that encourages me in my faith. I remember just recently, probably a couple weeks ago, it was just a really busy day. It was a Sunday morning, maybe afternoon by this time, and I was just completely overwhelmed, and I'm sure other Corps officers have had this moment. I actually went to the classroom and cried, and she followed me in, and she just I remember her telling me, Felicia, are we going to let Satan win? Are you going to let him win this battle? And I said, no. But I know she's someone that anytime I have an issue, I can pray with her. She will encourage me. And I love that about her. I love her genuineness. She's someone who makes my job easier, and she makes loving Jesus and following Jesus, she's a fine example of that.
Please welcome to the stage a star of our Army, young person Sergeant Major Robin Brokaw.
Robin, on behalf of a grateful territory and the Cascade Division, it's my honor to honor you this evening with this award. God bless you.
Thank you.
In 1971, having emigrated to the United States from Korea, Kyum-Young Kim, along with her husband, received God's vision to start a Korean Corps in San Francisco. After several years of prayers and preparation, the Kims started to hold Sunday morning meetings in their home. As this ministry flourished, the San Francisco Korean Outpost was officially opened in 1988. The Kims' response to God's calling, their dedication to service, and leading a congregation as a lay leader result today with the celebration of 25 years of the San Francisco All Nations Corps. Kyum-Young Kim has served as the Corps Sergeant Major since 2004, and tonight we honor her and her husband, who was promoted to glory in 2000, giving thanks to God for their ministry and their faithful soldiership.
Sergeant Major Kim is from Salvation Army family, and then she became a soldier in 1946. So now it's the 67th years of soldiership of the Salvation Army. Finally, Sergeant Major Kim made the decision to start the Korean Corps at their house first.
우리 김금일 정교님께서는 초창기 때부터 현재까지, 물론 초창기 때 참 어려움이 많았었습니다. 그때는 현재 저희들이 배워야 할 바는 우리 정교님의 그 따뜻한 사랑을 이어받아서 저희가 정말 사랑으로 저희 영문의 온 성도들이 하나로 뭉칠 수 있는 그러한 사랑이 되길 간절히 원하십니다. 감사합니다.
참 이 교회에서 많이 본받으시는 분이십니다. 그래서 저는 지금 과정도 알게 모르게 지금 조언을 받고 있어요. 그래서 아주 훌륭하신 것 같아요. 또 이 교회 안에서도 젊은 분들한테는 어머니 같으시고.
When I first come into this church, Korean church, and I was very hesitating. The reason is that our history, Korean and Japanese. But I came in and I was very uncomfortable. It's kind of scary a little bit how they're going to accept me. So, you know, Mrs. Kim Chung-Yeon, she opened her arm, she always said, listen to me. I'm your mother. I was not birthed in my stomach, but you're my daughter spiritually in God. She gave me hope. I can be who I am right now.
My mother, I just see her as being the leader and being the mother and she never gives up. I just know that she never gives up, and whatever comes her way, she just endures, and she embraces everyone and everything around her, and that's what makes her special. And I know that she has done what she did for God's work and God's kingdom. She just did what had to be done, and I'm so proud of her.
I'm so glad have this moment to recognize her. Actually, this is not enough to fully recognize her commitment and her sacrificial work for the whole. I do believe there will be a greater prize in the heaven in the future.
Please welcome to the stage a star of our Army, Corps Sergeant Major Kum Young Kim.
On behalf of a grateful Salvation Army, we honor you here this evening. God bless you.
Well, that was lovely. It's so good to see how faithfully God's people are serving in this territory.
It is. Do you know how many senior soldiers there are in this territory? In fact, does anybody know how many senior soldiers? As of Friday evening, last night, how many senior soldiers? Have a guess. You need to shout, I can't hear you. Oh, you see, these guys are good because they're looking at the auto cue, so they know here. Okay, this territory has 16,797 senior soldiers at the moment. I think that deserves a clap, yeah, okay. Okay, here's our second question. Junior soldiers. How many junior soldiers does this territory have? You can discuss it on your table before you give me the answer if you like, and it's not a quiz. We have 5,121 junior soldiers in this territory. That's pretty impressive. And also our serving local officers, we have 3,222.
Please join me now in welcoming one of those junior soldiers, Isabel Fairclough, from the Torrance Corps, who will present to us in song, There Are Hundreds and Thousands.
Now, it may be a little while because, unfortunately, Isabel has had a slight accident. She sprained her ankle, but she is going to sing on. So let's give another round of applause. Come on, Isabel, you're doing good. We've even got Dad support in here. Good job, Dad. We're going to bring the chair in. Isabel, amazing job. Isabel, how old are you? Put down your microphone. How old are you? 13 years old, and you're able to stand up in front of all these people and sing a song like that. I think that's pretty incredible. And you're giving your gifts and talents to God. Isabel, thank you very much. You did amazing.
Good job. In
Well done.
sportscasting, we used to call that playing hurt, and you did it. You pulled it off. Touchdown, Isabel. Thank you. That was wonderful. A great reminder that God knows each and every one of us.
Now, moving on, presenting our next two awardees tonight. Please join me in welcoming the Corps Sergeant Major from the Torrance Corps, Corey Moore.
Steve Luke from the Hawaiian and Pacific Island Division and the Kroc Center is our next star of the Army. Steve is not only a faithful Sunday school teacher, but he manages faithfully to welcome, befriend, and generally gets to know literally hundreds of visitors. Steve makes it his responsibility to make sure every new visitor to the Sunday meeting at the Kroc Center feel welcome. Steve is also willing to use his skills and training by driving his big rig for the Angel Tree program. While holding a full-time job, Steve spends many hours at the Corps, helping wherever he's needed. He does it all with a willing and helpful spirit, and he is a true star of the Army.
Steve is a very down-to-earth guy, and he's a hard-working guy. He thinks he has a sense of humor, and he really doesn't. And he likes to tell jokes, and some of them are funny, but he's a really hard worker. He does anything that's needed. He volunteers for everything. One of the great things about Steve is he really helped the old Corps from the Leeward Corps transition to the new Kroc Center Corps. He was really interested in seeing the future of the Salvation Army and us meeting the needs of the community through the new Kroc Center Church. And one of those things that I think drives Steve was to see the church growth that was going to take place. And the Leeward Corps was growing, but he believed that it would boom at the Kroc Center. And so he wanted to be a part of that, and he's always supported the Kroc Center Corps. And he's always been open to the new ministries that are taking place here at the Kroc Center.
I didn't grow up in the Salvation Army. I joined it after college. And at first I really didn't know if I wanted to become a soldier. And then one Sunday I remember Steve came to church in his uniform. And he had this glow, like he was so proud of his church and of wearing the uniform and of who he was. And it really started a spark in me to maybe consider it for myself. And I did eventually become a soldier, and I'm very happy about that. But I think back to what kind of sparked that in me, and I think it was Steve wearing his uniform and being so happy about it.
I guess you can say we co-lead an Ohana group. Both Steve's family and my family are kind of the host families of this Ohana group, where we have 5 or 6 families with a lot of kids running around the home, and so we both take turns facilitating the Bible studies that we do. He really puts his heart and soul, and he's investing, I think, in that eternal kingdom by the things he does here.
Steve is an all-around kind of guy. He knows how to do everything. He knows how to build things. He knows how to work with kids. He knows how to work in the kitchen. He can just do, I would say, almost everything. And he just feels comfortable. You can just throw him in any situation. He's comfortable wherever he's at.
As a Corps officer, to have someone like a Steve, a soldier like a Steve, is always, I think we want more of a Steve in the Corps, because for us as Corps officers, you can always, you know that whatever is needed, they're always there for you, and that you don't need to worry about anything because we can always count on Steve. And I wish there were many of them, and we are really glad to have, because he is taking on a leadership. And that hopefully in our goal and our prayer that he can pass that on to others here at the Kroc Center. And certainly we're seeing that happening. And so he is an example, a model, and I think it is a blessing. It is a blessing for, I know, for us here as the Corps officers to have him. And certainly we thank God for him and for his life and his dedication and his commitment to loving God and serving and being a disciple.
Please welcome to the stage a star of our Army, Steve Luke.
That's great music. Anyways, Steve Luke, on behalf of a very grateful Salvation Army, we honor you tonight with this award. God bless you.
Thank you very much. From the Cheyenne Corps, Jim Weber has served as the Corps Sergeant Major for 48 years. Jim is an extraordinary soldier, local officer, and dedicated Christian. His life has been an example of Christ to thousands of people over the past 5 decades. When the Corps was struggling to provide transportation for children and seniors, Jim purchased a bus and donated it to the Corps so that the ministry could continue. His commitment to the Corps and to the people of Cheyenne has never wavered or faded. He is a true star in our Army.
Jim is Mr. Salvation Army here in Cheyenne. He's been the Corps Sergeant Major for 49 years, and with that comes all the respect from the Corps members that they kind of view him. You know, frankly, the Corps officers, we come and go in Cheyenne, maybe even a little bit more than most Corps. And so Jim is kind of really that, Jim and Carolyn Weber are really that glue that holds the Corps together, and they've been well held.
I know Jim because my best friend for life is his cousin, so I know the family really well. And he is well respected. He is thought very well of by his family, and that's about half of Cheyenne, because he has a big family. He was talking about tithing, and he said to him, it's more than just giving 10% of your money, it's giving 10% of your time. And he feels that he owes God 2.5 hours a day. And I'm sure that he has a big savings account with God because he is always here.
I know that Jim is very dedicated to the Salvation Army. Whenever you see him, he's always got something to do with the Salvation Army. He gets his bobcat out and scoops the snow, which we have now. He'll have a tool in his hand, and he's headed someplace to do some work for the Salvation Army.
He's just an all-around, I want to say, like jack of all trades down here. He does a little bit of everything. He has a good temperament. He's friendly, and he's willing to help out anybody who needs it.
Well, we had, at one time here in Cheyenne, we were 6 months without an officer, and we made it just fine with him at the helm. He's just available, and though I disagree with him, I love him and I appreciate him very much.
Jim Weber said back when he was a teenager that he applied to go to SFOT back in the 50s, and he got deferred, and he applied again. He got deferred, he applied again, and he got deferred, and then finally, you know, he said that God has spoke to him just a few times in his life. You know, one of those God moments where You knew it was God and not your own opinion. And God said, I've called you to be here in Cheyenne. And so Jim just didn't take up a responsibility. Jim fulfilled a calling when he became the recruiting sergeant for the Corps Cadets, when he became many different other local officer positions in his youth, and when he became the Corps Sergeant Major in his 20s. He wasn't helping his Corps officer out. Jim wasn't trying to build a ministry. Jim was serving his Lord.
Please welcome to the stage a star of our Army, Corps Sergeant Major Jim Weber.
For over 50 years, Jim, the Salvation Army, and the Intermountain Division are grateful for your faithful and dedicated service. Thank you, Jim.
Well, thank you to the staff band for that exciting rendition of Temple 125. And we salute you for your faithful service to the territory and to each member of the band for your commitment to your local corps. Now that piece of, yeah, let's give them a clap. That deserves a clap. Yeah, thank you, guys. Now that piece of music reminds us of the words, "He came to give us life in all its fullness."
Well, this summer, some of our young people will have some of these fullness experiences. Our territory is again proud to be sending young Salvationists around the world as part of our Summer Service Corps program. These young people will experience new avenues of Army service, will grow in their own commitment, and will celebrate all the good that our Army is doing. Let's meet our 2013 Service Corps teams.
Service Corps. Let's meet our 2013 Service Corps teams. Witnessing in Bolivia, team leader Ruben Cordero, Joshua Stewart, Aaron Matto, Michaela McQuaid, Alex Winstig, Bianca Morellis. Heading to Kenya, team leader Sarah Wild, Arnold Henry John, Rachel Bach, Dylan Mosshart, Casey Hunter, Taylor Covert. Traveling to Hawaii and San Francisco, team leader Cadet Luke Betty, Edgar Azueta, Maggie Diaz, Lauren Weller, Kristen Williams. On their way to Poland, team leader Amanda Winstig, Lindsay Chamness, Jennifer Brazil, Mackenzie McQuaid, Jasmine Moody, Katie Owens. Going to Chile, team leader Cynthia Garcia, Melissa McQuaid, Delay Berry, Kayla Covert, Jennifer Zelinsky. Please greet and encourage all of our 2013 Service Corps teams.
Well, you look very smart, guys, in these shirts. You really do. Ladies and gentlemen, please greet our 2013 Service Corps team and Captain Roy Wild.
Well, it's my pleasure this evening to present to you the Service Corps for 2013. And let's give these young adults a hand representing our territory in 4 countries and within our own territory. And I want you to know this evening that these young adults that stand before you are some of the premier young adults of our territory. To be on Service Corps, we have several applicants that apply, and unfortunately not everybody can make it, but these that are here are the ones that God has chosen to be on Service Corps this summer, and I'm excited to see what God is going to do through them, but most importantly what God is going to do in them as they serve overseas this summer. And if you would please join me and bow your heads and close your eyes. And we're going to ask God to bless our Service Corps team as they travel across the seas and also within our own territory this summer. So let's pray together. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the privilege to be able to serve you through the ministries of the Salvation Army. And Lord, I thank you so much for the privilege that we have to be able to go overseas and to share this love of your Son, Jesus Christ, in different countries around the world and within our own territory through the avenue of Service Corps. God, and I thank you so much for the calling that you've put on these young adults' lives to give up of themselves, to remove themselves, Father, from just the things that are going on in their life, to remove themselves for a couple of months to go and to serve you, Jesus, in around the world and within our territory. God, would you bless them? Father, they are prepared to go out and do your ministry, and we ask now as a body of believers in the Church of the Salvation Army, God, that you would just seal your Holy Spirit upon them, that, God, you would protect them physically and spiritually, God, and we know you're going to do great things in them and through them, and it's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. One more time, greet 2013 Service Corps.
Please join me now in welcoming songster leader Susan Pierce as she presents our next 2 award winners. Susan.
Wow, thanks, California Brass. That's great. Makes me a little homesick in a way. Having grown up in the Army in the home of missionary officers, Catherine Dooley of the Seattle Temple Corps has a heart for missions and serving with passion and commitment. Kathy served the Army for 18 months in Kinshasa, Zaire, and has been on mission trips to Chikinkata, Zambia in 2008 and 2011. Kathy's drive and determination to help make children's lives in these countries better has resulted in much financial and material support being sent to those programs in these countries. However, her desire to serve also extends deeply into the lives of the young people in her own congregation. Serving as the YPSM, she directs the youth ministry of Seattle Temple with vigor, biblical authenticity, and with a deep caring and spiritual nurturing presence in the lives of the young people. Kathy's passion, commitment to excellence, and love of the Army makes her a true star of the Army.
Well, Kathy, ever since she was born, has been one of those type of children and young adults that is very positive and very critical of herself and highly energetic, I think is what you would say. Anything she does well and puts her whole self into it. So that's the way it's been since she was born.
Kathy is the YPSM here at Seattle Temple, so she actually coordinates a lot of the youth programs, whether it's troops or Corps cadets or even the Sunday school classes. She really does take a first-hand approach to making sure that all those programs are running well.
Kathy is just patient and loving, you know, and I think that's as much as you can want as a parent. That's all you really want from over everything else. I think, you know, the fact that you want someone who's going to care for your kids and love on them, because as a church we are family, and I think that's a really important thing.
Kathy is very kind and compassionate, and she takes the time to do the things that other people might not want to take time to do. She's here at the Corps a lot when other people probably wouldn't be, and she does a lot of the behind-the-scenes type of work, so she's really helpful in that way.
I think Kathy represents the ideal kind of leader, or at least what I would say is her willingness and ability together make her just one of the ideal kind of soldiers that people look to and see and say, I'd like to be like that someday.
Kathy doesn't necessarily like to get any praise, I don't think, for what she does. So I think, in fact, this whole thing will be quite embarrassing to her. So I think that's, you know, that's a positive thing. You know, that's a good thing. And she doesn't do it because she wants, you know, any adulation for herself. She does it because she knows that it's what Jesus would do for the kids, and it's what you know, she enjoys doing it. I think sometimes we as a Salvation Army don't do a good enough job at kind of representing these folks that do this kind of stuff week in, week out to no glory. You know, as kind of music leaders, you know, we get a lot of, you know, or if you're a decent singer or you're a good cornet player or something like that, you get a lot of adulation because you're out in front of people all the time, you're performing for them. But the people that, you know, kind of do this behind the scenes kind of stuff, or they work in with these kind of smaller groups of people, but it's just, that's how we grow an army.
I'm proud that she is receiving this award, but I am surprised at the same time. Not that she doesn't deserve it, but because that's not the type of leadership she's really exerted, was that could be seen by everybody. But those in those programs know, and that's the most important thing.
Please welcome to the stage a star of our Army, young person Sergeant Major Catherine Dooley.
Kathy, on behalf of a grateful Salvation Army, we honor you tonight. May God bless you.
Our next star has served as a soldier for 51 years. He has served as a corps musician for 42 years, has held leadership roles as songster leader, bandmaster, corps sergeant major, and Sunday school teacher. This star from the Concord Corps is Jim Black. Jim is known for his deep wisdom, gentle spiritual leadership, and his tremendous devotion to God and the Army. I have been privileged to serve alongside Jim at the Concord Corps, and he is a true Christian gentleman and a giant of a spiritual leader. I'm proud to have known Jim and have benefited from his leadership.
You simply can't turn a corner at this Corps and not run into Jim Black. He is the band leader. He gives the benediction. He gives typically the welcome announcements. He's a member of the board. He's the real backbone. Jim is he's our Renaissance man. He's a truly amazing guy, a physicist, accomplished musician. He's the band leader, first chair cornet, keyboards, just a very accomplished musician and a good and decent Christian.
The Jim that I know is primarily a Sunday school teacher. He really has a passion for the Word and for Christ. He is just one of those quiet, behind-the-scenes kind of people, and always encouraging everyone. He's just such a warm, caring person.
He's considered kind of a Renaissance man here by a number of the people in the Corps. He is an amazing Bible instructor, actually a theologian. You could sit down and talk to that man about anything in Scripture, and he would be able to hold his own on any conversation concerning Scripture and Bible. Anybody that sits under his instructions, if you don't learn anything, it's because you're not listening.
I would describe him as a very consistent example of Christ's love. We had a situation about 12 years ago in which our bandmaster suddenly died. Jim stepped in to fill his shoes. And as much as he would much rather play in the band, he continues to lead the band.
I can remember when I was first starting here at the church and a little bit fresh in my walk, Jim hit me with a tip that was just so valuable to me. I was having trouble staying focused on thinking about God and putting God in my life, and he said, every time you have something to drink during the day, thank God for it. And it caused me to more and more remember God.
He really is loved, I would say, probably by just about everyone at the Corps, which maybe is unusual. But, you know, there would obviously be a big hole if Jim wasn't here.
For every Corps in the Salvation Army to have a Jim Black, the Army would be 10 times as strong as it is today. He is an incredible gift to the Army.
Pretty sure that was planned. Unfortunately, Jim could not be with us tonight, and we are grateful Salvation Army, grateful Del Oro Division, and Concord Corps for his tireless, dedicated service. And Lisa and I are pleased to accept this award tonight on his behalf.
Outside, I'm going old and gray. Inside, I'm not at all the way. In helping folk, I feel a different bloke. Contented, happy all day. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Be this if you can. Since I let the love of the Lord inside of me, I've been a different man. Outside, everything's as before. Inside, there's been a major war, and love has won. Look what it's gone and done. Transform my interior. Oh, glory, glory, hallelujah. Be this if you can. Since I let the love of the Lord inside of me, I've been a different man. Outside, there isn't much to show. Inside, there's a big difference. Though my outlook's new, my disposition too, my misery, it just had to go. Come on! Glory, glory, hallelujah. Be this if you can. Oh, since I let the love of the Lord inside of me, I've been a different man. Come on, band! Since I let the love of the Lord inside of me, I've been a different kind of man.
Wow, Matt, good job. Let's hear it for Matt Woods one more time. Well done, Matt. Well, are we having a good evening so far? Gosh, come on, I think you've all gone to sleep. I think you've had too much food. Let's try that line one more time. Are we all having an amazing evening so far? There we go. That's more like it.
I just have to point out something really quickly.
Okay.
This dude has more costume changes than I do.
You told me to
Is
wear
the girl's
this?
supposed to have all the costume
You told
changes,
me to
not
put
you.
this on?
No, I digress. Go ahead.
I did ask you and you to put it on. Okay, here we go. Isn't it great to see so much life and energy in the Salvation Army? We are truly blessed to have so many opportunities and ways to worship. Now, I hope that we never lose sight of all that we've been given and that we seek to cultivate and develop the people and talents that the Lord has given us.
We've heard a lot tonight about the impact that soldiers are having around this territory, and we continue to give thanks to God for them. Our next presenter has served faithfully as a Corps bandmaster. He's given dynamic and visionary leadership to his Corps, and I would know because I grew up in one of his Corps, the Santa Ana Corps. This year, believe it or not, he completes 40 years as the Corps bandmaster. So please stand and join me in welcoming Bandmaster Ed Freeman.
Thank you. Well, it's great to be here. I am humbled, actually, to stand in front of you to be a part of this event that honors those who've been so faithful, and to hear stories of their lives being impacted and to honor these fine people. I think I can safely speak on behalf of all local officers and faithful soldiers in saying we do what we do because we believe it is God's calling in our lives. I love the Army, and I believe in it. We want to see it grow, and we want to be leaders in it. I want to give thanks to God for the opportunity He has given us, and thanks to the Corps officers, divisional leaders, and all those who have been supportive of us and allowing us the privilege of serving people. Our next Army of Star is from the great state of Alaska. Richard Zelmer serves the Lord at the Gateway Corps. He is a godly man who serves without regard for himself, but with the passion of Christ showing in through him. The community of Southeast Alaska is a better place because of his commitment to others. Richard serves as a Sunday school teacher, junior church leader, after-school youth leader, and junior soldier leader. Richard serves faithfully, not to be noticed in any way, but to reach out to others in the name of our Lord.
Well, I've only been here about 2 years, but I knew Richard from Alaska Congresses. He was always driving the vans, driving people around, and just always working for the Lord. But when I got here, I always thought he was a shy kid. And knowing he was my thrift store manager, but he is actually the quiet behind my storm usually. He does anything that I really ask him to do, which is really nice. But I think Richard takes it as a mission. Working at the thrift store is a mission for Richard because he shares with the volunteers, the employees, his love of the Lord. And when people come in with his kind heart, they see Jesus in action. So that's part of the mission. And when he volunteers and does other things, I think it's the mission also for him.
He's very influential. He'll advise all the time, even on the clock, on how to help you with not just your emotional or physical life, but your spiritual life. And he, as far as friendship goes, we have definitely got a lot of spiritual growth off of not just individually, but off of each other.
He's one of the best bosses ever, actually. Well, because he's honest with you, he'll work with you, he'll do everything, and I can follow his instructions easily, and I have no trouble with him.
Richard is serious in his walk and with his example of a godly man. And it's such a refreshing thing to see in a person.
When I see Richard, he just makes me smile, and he always smiles back. And when I come in on Sunday morning, then he's standing there waving and laughing. He's a happy guy. He makes me think of myself, a busy bee, always busy and helping people. And now I'm getting old. I'm glad to see that there's still people that are willing to serve the Lord in different ways, you know. Sometimes they say, oh yeah, we need good officers, but we need good local officers. And if a corps doesn't have good local officers and no kids, then there is no hope.
He just has such a quiet heart. I know he loves the Lord, his word, and I say he's strong in his scriptures and his prayer life and his compassion for other people. You can only have that when you have a close relationship with God. So that's what I really see in Richard, that a heart that's for God.
Please welcome to the stage a star of our Army, Richard Zelmer.
On behalf of the amazing Alaska Division and the Salvation Army, we honor you tonight. Thank you. God bless
I'm really thrilled to present our next honoree, since I've known her since she was a fairly young girl. Home League Secretary, Junior Soldier Sergeant, Sunday School teacher, Community Care Ministries leader, Sunbeam leader, Angel Tree Coordinator, driver, and cook are just some of the responsibilities that Patty Ferguson has held during her 44 years as a Salvation Army soldier. Patty has a great heart for ministry and spends the majority of her time volunteering for the Army. She is an eternal optimist and has not one negative thing to say about anyone. Over the decades of her quiet influence has changed young people's lives, has affected the homeless in the community of Riverside, and has been a true example of Christ to all she meets. Patty Ferguson of the Riverside Corps is a true star of the Army.
Patty might be a small woman in stature, but she has a big heart. She's kind, she's generous, she's helpful, and Patty is a perfect example of a Salvation Army soldier.
I've seen her help people that she doesn't even know, and she will open her purse to help them. And if she can't, she'll find somewhere else that they can get help.
Patty Ferguson is an awesome lady. She gives 100%. She is the sweetest lady you'll ever meet, biggest heart, very generous spirit. I couldn't ask for a better, not just an employee, but she's a volunteer.
She is the receptionist, but much, much more than that. She has the heart of gold. She's the most giving person I've ever met in my life. And she walks with God.
A ray of sunshine. Whenever you come in, you might be a little down, and she's smiling and happy and greeting you with a warm hello, and it's just a nice feeling to be around Patty.
I met Patty 6 years ago when I started volunteering here, and eventually I started working, and we got to know each other and started having lunch together, and little by little I got to know her, and we just became friends. She's one of my best friends. I don't allow Patty to work with me because she would give everything away and I wouldn't have anything for the next day. She has a kind word for everybody. She looks for the good in everybody. Never has a bad word to say about anybody. She's just a good-hearted person.
Patty is just a perfect example of a servant. She is frequently arriving early, staying late, going above and beyond to meet the needs of individuals and the programs. We have to stop her often from working so much and so hard. I honestly, in my ministry, it would be, I don't know how far I would have gotten without Patty's help. So it's really been a blessing.
Patty has the biggest heart that I ever seen. She will make sure that on your birthday that you will get gifts, presents, and she will make sure that you're loved. See, and you know, and that's the thing that I love about her. You know, she makes me smile. I can't get mad at her. Patty, it's God's blessed to all of us here. She's awesome.
She's just, I can't say enough good about Patty, and it's not just because I'm in front of this camera. I tell strangers about Patty.
She loves everybody. There's nothing about her that speaks any kind of anger, any kind of negative. She's so positive, and so I think she deserves this honor in that she just is a living testament to Christ, and everything that He has said we need to do. She not only knows the Word, but she actually lives and breathes it.
Please welcome to the stage a star of our Army, Patty Ferguson.
Patty, the Salvation Army thanks you for your faithful service, for your gracious and humble attitude. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Like an army cup of tea. Oh, there's nothing like an army cup of tea. Oh, there's nothing like an army cup of tea. They produce it on the spot from Hong Kong to Aldershot. Oh, there's nothing like an army cup of tea. Oh, there's nothing, 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 nothing in the world like a nice, hot, thick, strong, exciting, intoxicating, psychedelic,
Wow, there's nothing like an army cup of tea. If only Starbucks sold army cups of tea, Barbara, I think, would be in heaven. Right there. Right there. Great job, Barbara. Thank you so much. Now, I'm grateful that we belong to an army of service, and an army that can be seen on its knees. For all the times that faithful servants of God have lifted me up in prayer, I'm thankful. Let us first and foremost always be a praying army. Praying for those in our fellowship, and praying for those who desperately need the love of God in their lives.
We would be remiss tonight if we didn't say a prayer or two for our fathers. Tomorrow's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the dads and the grandfathers out there. My own father's here, Walter Coles, a longtime Salvationist.
Where is he? Where's your father? I want to see
He's
him.
being he's the one blushing.
Give us
waving.
a wave. Hey,
Hi, Dad. Walter Coles. And my grandfather, Raul Guerrero, is here as well. He once received the Order of the Founder for the Salvation Army and has been a long-time Hispanic minister within the Salvation Army. So we love them both and thank them for their service as well. Somebody that knows and loves Raul Guerrero is also near and dear to my heart, and that is Donna Guerrero, his wife, who's going to present us our next award.
When her husband entered the Haven program in Southern California, Donna Montgomery had no choice but to start attending the Corps in Inglewood and recovery meetings with him. This resulted in both of them giving their hearts to the Lord. Since Donna allowed God into her life, she has lived with determination to study the Bible and evangelize at every opportunity. She attends every program at the Corps, including the Men's Fellowship. She is learning to preach. She is actively involved in Bible correspondence courses with prisoners. She is the heartbeat of the Inglewood Citadel Corps. She is industrious, reliable, and sets a standard of salvationism for all to follow. Donna lives every day to serve her God, her family, and her Corps, never forgetting how she has been made new.
If I could create a profile of salvationism, it would be Donna. Donna does everything that is asked of her and then some. Donna is a product really of the Salvation Army, being that she went through our Westwood facility, our Westwood transitional facility. Her husband Edward went through our Haven program, and really it's what we should be doing as Corps. We should be connecting with our programs and linking people to our ministries at the Corps. And Edward and Donna and Edward are just a great example of that.
Every time somebody asks her to do something, ask somebody to do something, Donna has to be the first one to step up to the plate. And she want to be the one to do it because she's just the all hands-on type of person. And that's just the type of person that she is. She's a beautiful person.
Donna takes a lot of initiative around here. Being the hospitality person here at the Corps, being one of the faces that people see, a welcoming, greeting face, you see a big smile and you always get a big hug from her. So, you know, Donna just really means a lot to the ministry here at the Corps.
Well, she can basically sense when a person is down, and she would go over and give them a gentle hug or speak a scripture to them to get them to know that, you know, look what Jesus went through. And, you know, it would make them feel better.
I remember the family, when she first started getting her life cleaned up, they took off the first 2 pews of our church. The whole family would come and support her because they knew what their mother was like out there in the disease, and she was trying to get her life better. And they would come every Sunday and fill those 2 pews up.
I remember not too far back, she was doing it either the bell ringing or the collecting of food for the drive or something. Mm-hmm. And she felt ill, but she still continued to come till they had to take her to the hospital.
Yeah. That's Donna.
She goes 100% for our pastors.
That's
here.
it.
And she's become a good friend and family to us also.
Yeah.
we as a team try to tackle the issues of Inglewood and present Christ to people. Donna does that. She takes the lead and she just moves forward with it. We're a church on the move, and that's one thing that Joanna and I were challenged as the Corps officers when we first arrived, is to be a church on the move. Donna is being the church on the move.
Please welcome to the stage a star of our Army, Donna Montgomery.
On behalf of the Southern California Division and the Salvation Army, we are so proud to honor you tonight, Donna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our final awardee tonight has a real heart for the Salvation Army, and in particular for ministry to young people. Pete Cooper of the Las Vegas Citadel Corps is being honored tonight for his tireless commitment to training, teaching young musicians. While using music as a tool, Pete has an undeniable Christian influence on young people and the Corps as a whole. His desire for mission advancement is evident in all he does, and his strong Christian influence has helped many walk the path that Christ has for them. Previously a professional musician, Pete now finds his joy in serving the Salvation Army, serving God. He is a true star.
Describe Pete as a very caring individual who really cares about the youth. He has that British sense of humor, and just he's a great guy.
He's a great teacher. He's been, I don't really know how long he's been teaching, but he's been doing really great at what he does.
Several years ago, about 5 years ago, I heard the Las Vegas Brass Band. And I went to the rehearsal. The rehearsal was held in Pete's garage. We talked about the Salvation Army, and it turns out that he had actually first given a horn when he was with the Salvation Army in England. And so I said, why don't you come on back over to the Salvation Army here? Within a very short time, he became such integral to the band, and then he became bandmaster.
I actually met him when I was 16 years old, so I've probably known him. I'm probably one of his first youth that he's actually helped along the way. He actually brought me back to the Lord. You know, he's been like a second father to me.
I may be one of the first ones he said it to. He said, you got all these kids here after school. Why don't we get them some horns and teach them how to play? They were kids from the neighborhood. And so he put together a youth band.
I'm the principal cornet player of the YP band. I play also in the senior band. I met Pete through my mom going here to the church. I didn't really understand what the band was, so I guess I just wanted to try it. He told me I was a natural player and that I sounded great in doing what I was doing. I honestly never gotten a compliment like that. It was really heartwarming, and it was just really, it was joyful.
Look, I think he's influenced quite a few kids. I mean, really helped push them along to, you know, for their goals in life. Even if it's not music, he's even pushes them towards their goals in life, be it in the military service or college or whatever they want to do in their life.
I take some small satisfaction from convincing him to come over here to the Army. What he also did is he brought 4 other people with him. In time, you talked to Travis. He brought Travis down here. He brought Doug and a few others to play here in the band at the Salvation Army School. That really made the band a true
instrument of evangelism. And the youth band that he started here, with all those little kids, well, they're in the Marine Corps, going in the Army, off to college now.
You know, you have kids that grow up and go off to school, and you know, it's good to have somebody dedicated to these kids to keep things going like that.
Please welcome to the stage a star of our Army, Pete Cooper.
Well, Pete, on behalf of the Salvation Army and of the Great Southwest Division, we want to express our thanks to you for your influence and difference you've made in the lives of those in Las Vegas.
Flowers dream of a day, not far, far away, when in the world of men the love of God shall be seen. I dream of a day, I dream of a day, I dream of a day, I dream of a day.
Oh, come on, let's hear it for Barbara and Matt. Fantastic job.
That was like Dancing with the Salvation Army Stars.
Dancing with the Stars. I can see Matt Woods on Dancing with the Stars.
It was. Better.
They did good. They did really good. You should have seen him in rehearsal if you thought that was good.
It was awful. That was good.
Okay, thank you very much to Barbara and Matt. They did a great job. And also, I think we should give a hand to these guys, the pit band here tonight. Hey, stand up, guys. Stand up. Aren't they just sounding amazing? Yeah? And also, a special thank you, Kevin, for your arrangements of your dad's pieces tonight. They are really good. Thank you. Now, as we heard in those last words, we are reminded that with God at the center of our dreams of a better place and a stronger army and souls won can be realized.
Soldiers, officers, and friends, please join me now in welcoming our territorial leader, Commissioner James Knaggs.
You guys are just too much. Let's give it up again for these guys over here. I don't know whether you know it tonight, but the program this evening is being broadcast over the internet, as we do now in the Western Territory in meetings like this. And tonight, 350 different computers have logged on to join us for this great meeting. So we welcome you tonight, those of you around the world, from 15 different countries, all over the USA, Canada, the United Kingdom. We welcome you, Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, Chile, Marshall Islands, Brazil, Deutschland, that's Germany, good. Denmark, Japan, Kuwait, Norway, and Sweden. How about that stuff? I've just been advised it also includes the Bahamas. What a great place to be watching this program from tonight. And how thrilling it is that tonight, even in this experience and in this opportunity, there have been 5 commitments, recommitments to the Lord over online tonight while we've been having this meeting here. God bless you. We're so glad that you have joined us from around the world, and would remind you that tomorrow in Pasadena time at 10 o'clock a.m., we'll be joining here for the commissioning of the proclaimers of the resurrection. You'll want to tune in again tomorrow. Now I'd like to ask your indulgence and invite, in the spirit of the recognitions that we're giving this evening, it's been a fantastic night, and each person recognized, demonstrating the love and the power of Jesus Christ in their lives on a day-by-day basis. These are people who know how to be holy and show up for work. Speaking of people like that, I'm going to ask Bandmaster Ed Freeman to join me again here on the platform. Would you do that, Bandmaster? Just come on back up one more time. Let's greet him as he comes. Bandmaster, as we've learned this evening, you're celebrating 40 years Bandmaster of the great Tustin Ranch Corps Band. And of course, we also know of your faithfulness in the Corps as an advisory board member and many other roles. I think the significance of the bandmaster's ministry goes this way. He is known as the bandmaster of the Tustin Ranch Corps Band. He is not the conductor of the band. Do you hear the difference? A conductor is one who leads the music. A bandmaster is one who shepherds the band people in the music. This has been your reputation. This has been your mark. This has been your ministry. We are so grateful to God for you. And we want to give you this commemorative baton, or as they say other places in the world, baton, to Bandmaster Ed Freeman for 40 years of great service as a bandmaster in the Western Territory. Ladies and gentlemen, let's greet again Bandmaster Ed Freeman. You're loved, brother. God bless you. Thank you so much. In the same way, I'd like to recognize another person, and I'm going to ask if Barbara Allen might come back out here on the platform. As she comes, this has been a significant year for the Salvation Army in the USA Western Territory. A year ago at commissioning at the Congress, we commissioned the what was then the Territorial Band to become the Western Territory Staff Band. And at the same time, we commissioned the Territorial Songsters to become the Western Territory Staff Songsters. And so both groups are functioning with great skill, expertise, as we've heard tonight, even here in this room and in this program. The Western Territory Staff Songsters has just completed a significant tour of the United Kingdom under the leadership of our Territory Music Secretary, bandmaster and songster leader, Neil Smith. And we want to greet Neil tonight and thank him for his good service in this way. About a year ago, as we were discussing the change in the name of the songsters, Neil and I began to discuss also the change in leadership of the songsters. It's taken us a little while. But we've come to the conclusion and want to announce tonight and make it public here in the Western Territory that effective immediately, the new songster leader of the Western Territory Staff Songsters is none other than Barbara Allen. Let's greet Barbara this evening. And so tonight, Barbara, I present you with this commission. Be it known by all present that Barbara Allen have received personal salvation by grace through faith in Jesus Christ, and having realized that Almighty God carries out His work on earth through those who trust and serve Him, and having recognized that the Salvation Army has been raised up by God as an instrument to accomplish His purposes, having served faithfully in core music programs, is hereby commissioned Staff Songster Leader. Ladies and gentlemen, let us greet our new Staff Songster Leader, Barbara Allen. God bless you. This has been a soldier's night. This has been a soldier's meeting. We could have more soldiers meeting in the Salvation Army. And it's important for us to understand this because I want to let you in on a little bit of a secret from me. My hope, my dream for this territory, my understanding that for us to serve God as we need to serve God, for us to be the force that we need to be, I am calling tonight and declaring to each one of you that I'm expecting here in the Western Territory that every soldier would be a salvationist. Now, some of you are saying, what does the man mean? Aren't we salvationists already? But look at the notation that's given to us even on our programs this evening about and from the Soldier's Covenant, where it says, I will be faithful to the purposes for which God raised up the Salvation Army, sharing the good news of Jesus Christ, endeavoring to win others to Him, and in His name caring for the needy and the disadvantaged. Loved ones, we need to be salvationists. We don't need to be soldiers in name alone. We don't need to be soldiers who simply put on a different color suit on a Sunday and show up at the Corps. I'm calling you to be a salvationist. I'm calling you to be a soul winner. I'm calling you to care for those who are lost. I'm calling you to look out for those who have been marginalized. I'm calling you to love your neighbor as yourself. I'm calling you to be a salvationist in the Salvation Army. And as you and I exercise our rights and privileges and responsibilities as being salvationists, I call junior soldiers and senior soldiers and officers all alike, all sharing soldiership and the responsibility of being salvationists. Listen to one verse from the Gospel according to Luke that's given to us as presented by the Message. It's Luke chapter 11, verse 23. It's the words of Jesus. Listen carefully. This is war, and there is no neutral ground. Jesus says, if you're not on my side, you're the enemy. If you're not helping, you're making things worse. Loved ones, tonight, the call for you and me, and for those around the world who are listening online. If you're a soldier in the Salvation Army, I ask you, I beg you, I pray for you, each to be a salvationist. May God bless you this evening.
Thank you for those inspiring words, Commissioner Naggs. Waiting for the band to go. Well, we've heard a lot this evening about soldiership. This army is only as strong as we are. Every person in this room needs to be a soldier. The battle is all around us. In our workplace, in our schools, and in our neighborhoods. Let us faithfully serve our Lord, our army. Let us together grow his kingdom.
As our time comes to a conclusion tonight, we invite you to turn to the back of the program to the words of the Soldier's Hymn. Let us raise our voices as we are led in singing of this song of declaration.
May we Before I pray, a couple of things. First of all, Lisa and Gavin, thank you very much. You've led us. And it's nice, Gavin, you're back full circle, you're back in uniform, so we appreciate that. Also, there's some wonderful flower arrangements in the middle of your table. Whoever's been the soldier for the longest in your life, you're welcome to take that as our gift to you this evening. So after I pray, you can figure it up at every table except Barbara Newbold's, and it's a no-brainer there. Let's pray. We thank you, Father, for the lives that we've seen this evening. They inspire us. And Father, may we be encouraged to go out and make a difference in our world. Give us a restful evening and bring us back safe tomorrow. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, we trust you've all had an amazing evening tonight. We thank each and every one of you for coming. May God bless each soldier.
May God bless the USA Western Territory. May God bless the Salvation Army. Good night.
Good night.
And there we go. What a great night.
It was. One of the, other than the great accolades, they wanted to hear from the volunteers themselves, and I was just trying to say a couple times it had to be well scripted because you're giving out 10 awards, 10 songs, it would have been here forever. But they will all be listed, I'm sure, in the New Frontier, all the names.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it was outstanding, and not just the awards, but the music and Kevin Larson with the arrangements and stuff was just outstanding. So really good. Great to have everyone on tonight. Well, I was feeding some information to Commissioner Jim Knaggs about how many people we had on in the countries, and so it was pretty cool for him to share that with everyone and talk about you.
Yeah, it's interesting too, though, when those numbers come up, people only see who's in the actual chat room.
Right.
But there's people that have gone to YouTube and have hit live, and they've seen this, so they've come on too, and they wouldn't be listed in there. And
that's right.
But they can't, as well, they can't chat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't log in, then you can't chat in the chat room. So we encourage you to log in, because it makes a big difference and adds to the community of what we're doing. So we're done for a night.
Tomorrow morning, what's happening?
Tomorrow morning at 9:30, we come online. And so we're going to be doing some interviews with the people that you can sort of see behind us here. This will all be full of people as they're going into the theatre that we're in front of. Mm-hmm. And so for the 2 sessions, we'll come online at 9:30, so watch from then. But the session actually starts at 10. So the doors open at 9:30, and that's when we start. Mm-hmm. And similarly at 2:30 again for the appointment service.
Right.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have lots of interviews, and we'll try to get out, and so you can get a feel for what it would be like to be here as you rub shoulders with different people.
Between now and then,
sleep.
My challenge is to pray. Yeah. Well, it's obviously going to sleep. That's whatever. But they have these 70+ cadets that will be commissioned, ordained, and then become lieutenants, and that's a real holy thing, a holy opportunity. and then they come back in the afternoon and find out where they're going. And having been there, of course, my son was just a baby, but having been around other new lieutenants and their families, you know, that's a shock to the families. You know, the kids that they're going, where are we going, Dad?
We're going where? Yeah.
Where is Reno, Nevada? That was my first appointment. Or where is Hanford, California? But to have the faith and the confidence that God's going to be in that whole process, you know, certainly men make the decision, but these men and women, excuse me, human, but they have bathed the whole thing in prayer. And it's taken months and 22 months of training, I think that's what it is.
Okay. Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
Please pray for them.
Yeah, it's a really cool time. So tomorrow is a great day, and we hope that you can get to see as much as you can tomorrow, depending on the time zone that you're in. But have a look. You'll see the countdown. The clock will count down on onlinecore.net. You'll see a countdown, and that'll show exactly the time that it starts. Don't be confused about the time zone. If it says there's 2 hours to go,
There's 2 hours to go.
No matter
now,
what
is that
time zone
2
you're
hours
in.
in America or 2 hours in Britain?
It's very simple.
2 hours is 2 hours.
Correct.
We're not even having metric time on that, right?
Nice. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and please join us again tomorrow.
God bless you. Good night.
Bye-bye.